Oh, he's had many a field day against the Bombers over the years. John Cornish back healthy. Back last week after missing 6 games with a thumb injury. He picked up 41 yards and 12 carries, and he's looking for a whole lot more tonight against a Winnipeg defense that struggles against the run, but does feature one of the best pass rushers in the game in Jamal Westerman, who is tied for the league lead in sacks with 9. Need to get a lot of pressure on Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stampeders offense tonight for a chance for Winnipeg. Welcome to the start of Week 14 in the CFL. Wendy's Friday Night Football tonight. I'm Rod Smith, along with the panel of Mike Benavides, Milt Stiegel, and Chris Schultz. And 2 teams this evening in Winnipeg going in very opposite directions. You do have the Stampeders, who have won 6 of their last 7. The Blue Bombers, despite losing 5 of 6, are still in a playoff race, chasing Montreal a couple of points behind. Key matchups for this one tonight, Coach.
Well, when I take a look at it, Rod, I really want to see if the Winnipeg offense can sustain anything on the field. Right now, they're last on offense, and they're giving up the most sacks in 41. We need to see the Winnipeg offense stay on the field and see how they match up against a very good Calgary offense. Winnipeg's got some talent. Matt Nichols is getting more comfortable with that offense. I just want to see them evolve a little bit more against a very good group. So I'm looking forward to see exactly, can they protect the quarterback, and can they stay on the field and keep things going? Because if they can't do that, then time of possession goes the other way, and that's a problem.
Well, the hottest receiver and the best receiver in the league, Eric Rogers. If I'm the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I'm scheming my defense to make sure I have at least 1, if not 2 guys on him the entire game. The last 5 games, he's destroyed the league, averaging 6 catches for almost 100 yards. In the last game against Winnipeg, 7 catches for 152 yards. So number 80 is going to be on my radar every single play. Even if he's on the bench, Schultz, I'm still going to cover him.
Well, the theme of our whole pregame show has been about emotion, and that's what I'm looking for tonight. I've known many football players that weren't necessarily the best athletes nor great players, but come game day, they could really focus in terms of making sure that their intensity was at the highest level. Calgary is going to play a very good game tonight. John Hufnagel has set the standard. You're going to see a good performance. For Winnipeg, they better match that, because if they don't match that intensity, it's going to be an exact repeat as the previous game.
You're exactly right, Chris. And I think we got to remember last time it was 8-3 at halftime. Right. It was a good battle, and I think they're going to talk about that both sides.
Matt Nichols wasn't in that game. He had a good debut for Winnipeg in a win over Saskatchewan, but then things really fell back for the entire team in Montreal last week. Big one, Winnipeg coming in at 4-8, needing to get back into the win column tonight again.
Thank you so much, Rod. Hello, Canada. Wendy's Friday Night Football. Gorgeous night in the Manitoba capital. Investors Group Field. The days are getting shorter, Glenn Suter. The season's getting shorter. We're now into the final third.
Well, Bo Levi Mitchell for the Calgary Stampeders loves to play in this stadium, Investors Group Field in Winnipeg. He hasn't lost here, and the last time the Stamps were here at the end of August, Mitchell threw for over 300 yards in that win. Matt Nichols gets his 3rd start as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. He is 1-1 wearing the blue and gold, but as an Eskimo, he faced the Stamps 4 times, lost all 4, but can he bump the slump tonight?
2 good buddies who used to play in Eastern Washington. Mike O'Shea, speaking of slumps, his team losing 5 of their last 6, losing last week in Montreal. Special teams need to be better, he says. John Hufnagel, 3 wins away from 100 regular season wins as a CFL head coach. Huff, O'Shea, Stampeders, Blue Bombers. Ready to kick off Week 14 in the Canadian Football League. 65 days away from the Grey Cup game here in Winnipeg. Anthony Parker returning tonight and spinning up near the 25-yard line where he is swarmed. And Bo Levi Mitchell brings out his vaunted Stampeder offense.
John Cornish returned to the lineup last week. The numbers didn't jump off the page for him in that game against the Lions, but they certainly did when he played the Winnipeg Blue Bombers the one time this year, 120 yards rushing. Best receiver in the CFL right now is Eric Rogers. He's in the lineup tonight. And Gary Williams returns from the injury list. He's going to have to go up against Jamal Westerman, who is tied with Charleston Hughes for the league lead in sacks.
They load up the line here. Mitchell's going to throw, and he does to the far side, and Jeff Fuller can't bring it down. watched on the far corner by Matt Buckner. Let's take a look at this blue and gold D.
Well, it starts with Jamal Westerman, 9 sacks on the season, 7 tackles for losses. That leads his team as well. Maurice Leggett moves down to replace Chris Randall a couple of weeks ago and has made some plays from the linebacking core. Khalil Bass, their best tackler in that core, with 59 on the season. That leads the Bombers.
Stampeders, if they've had an issue, it's been on second down conversions. Ranked 7th in the league. Here comes the blitz. Mitchell throws over the top. It's picked off. Penalty flag, however. Studermeyer has the pick. But Bo Mitchell was hammered as he threw that football. Let's see what the penalty flag is. Our referee tonight is Tom Valese.
Damon Washington's going to get called.
Pass interference. Winnipeg number 7. Point of foul. Automatic. First down.
Troy Studermeyer, returner and also receiver, playing DB. You can see him right there, but Damon Washington got to Bo Mitchell.
Yeah, and it was the one-on-one coverage from Damon Washington who twists Eric Rogers as he tries to make that inside slant move. That takes the interception off the board.
So John Cornish back in the saddle for the Calgary Stampeders after missing 6 games. Still has an opportunity to win the rushing title this season. Is going to have to go some, but he has been a monster against the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, and you take a look at Cornish here. He doesn't have a lot of room when he hits that line of scrimmage. Bit of a counter player. They pull a couple. Not a lot of room to get through that hole, but he does. He didn't have big numbers against BC in his first game back, but there was one run that was special. It was vintage Cornish, a 16-yard touchdown run late in that game.
Second down and 4. Cornish will get that, and look out. Explodes up near the 50-yard line, and John Cornish back-to-back big runs. Last week, just 12 carries, 41 yards. Almost 41 yards in this game already.
Well, from a small hole that he snuck through to a hole you could drive a truck through, because John Cornish is not going to get contact on this play till he gets to the secondary. Look at the size of that hole for an 18-yard gain. Nice blocking by Shane Bergman to seal it.
Up near the Blue Bomber 47-yard line. Bombers show blitz again. They bring it. Mitchell's in trouble. He throws it away and to the sideline and out of bounds. Johnny Adams had the catch, but out of bounds. So it'll be second down now for the Calgary Stampeders.
Challenge for the Bombers is going to be to contain John Cornish and try and get Bo Levi Mitchell in second and long and see if they can't make some of those interceptions down the field. One taken off the board already tonight. Look at the numbers for John Cornish against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and maybe the most stunning is down at the bottom. 116 yards in 8 games. That's an average of 116. We mentioned the one game they played against each other that Cornish played. 120 against Winnipeg earlier in the season. So they've got to contain number 9. Get them into second and long and then take their chances against Bo Levi Mitchell.
Stampeders were going to the line, and then Johnny Adams went down. Again, he made that catch on the sideline. He's being attended to. We'll try to get an update when we come back to Winnipeg on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Wendy's Friday Night Football is brought to you by Wendy's Barbecue, Pulled Pork, Poutine, and Sandwich. Wendy's, now that's better. Calgary Stampeders moving the football at second down now from the Winnipeg 47. Something that Calgary, even though they lead the CFL in wins this season, they have not scored a touchdown. The only team in the league on their opening drive. Maybe this time, and maybe with this guy back in the lineup. They need this, though, to move the chains, and they won't. It's picked, and it's Studermeyer gets this one. No flags down, and Troy Studermeyer, receiver, returner, playing defender, actually has had 2 picks in this game. This one counts, though.
Yeah, playing that free safety spot to throw a little bit behind the intended target, Eric Rogers. That's a couple of times now that Bo Levi Mitchell has looked to Eric Rogers on that slant route, and both times picked off by Stoudemire in the middle. This time the ball a little bit behind him, bounces off his hands right into Stoudemire's mitts, and he's gone the other direction.
11th pick of the season against Bo Mitchell. Matt Nichols right away to Darvin Adams. Little slant pattern. Keon Raymond brought him down.
Former Stampeder Stanley Bryant said this week in the media he does not want to get used to losing. Bryant has to contain Charleston Hughes, one of the best rush-ins in the Canadian Football League. Matt Nichols, 1-1 as a Bomber, as I mentioned. He can get the ball to Nick Moore. Their chances of winning go up in a big, big way. Moore missed last week's game against Montreal, but a go-to receiver.
2nd and manageable now. 2nd and 3. Another quick hitter. And it's going to be a first down. They'll give him the progression. And Darvin Adams going to Adams right away. Last week against Montreal, I know special teams were obviously the hot topic that everybody talked about, but Darvin Adams said he has to be better this week. Dropped a couple of key passes and drives.
Well, you got to play well against the good teams, and I think it was Matt Nichols who mentioned this week that almost perfect football. You got to limit the mistakes, be crisp, be sharp, no dropped assignments, sharp start.
Play action once more. Nichols looking for Adams. He's got it. What a catch and a touchdown. Oh my, what a start here for Winnipeg. And it's all Darvin Adams. And it's all Matt Nichols. Spectacular catch. Great throw.
Can see the sense of urgency from this Winnipeg Blue Bomber team in this first drive. A couple of throws short to Darvin Adams, sets up the deep move, the deep post, gets in behind and makes a tough catch with coverage all over him from Joe Burnett.
Well, the playbook, 3 straight plays, go to number 4. And number 4 ends up getting 6. It looked like he may have been very close to being down there as well. They review that, though. The ball breaking the play. And now Lirim Haralahu with the 32-yard point after. Winnipeg, 7 points off of the Calgary turnover. Interception, Stoudemire. Touchdown, Darvin Adams. Bombers strike first in the peg. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. What a start for the Blue Bombers. Matt Nichols to Darvin Adams 3 straight times. 7 points off a key turnover.
Targeted 3 times, 3 catches, including the touchdown, and sometimes you have the perfect call for the defense you're facing.
Blue Bombers kick it off again. Once again, it's former Calgary Dino, Anthony Parker, zigging and zagging and picking his way up. Nice return. There have been some issues with returns as well because Tim Brown is injured, of course, for the Stampeders. Let's take a look at this drive.
This is the safety, Josh Bell. Now, he's going to come up, and this is Darvin Adams down at the bottom on the post. Usually the safety is back to help. In this case, he's not because he's covering a man. It's basically called zero coverage, so there is no safety in the middle. Josh Bell is down here, and that leaves Darvin Adams in the one-on-one with Joe Burnett, and Matt Nichols lays it out there for his receiver to go and run underneath.
There was a hold on that return, so that return by Parker is negated. There is the Canton, Mississippi native, former Auburn Tiger, Darvin Adams. 3rd touchdown of the season for the Blue Bombers. Bo Mitchell now out of the pocket, rolling, and Rodgers meet Mo Leggett.
Well, you could tell the Bombers understand how important this football game is, and they control their destiny. This is a big hit from from a distance away. He's about 7 yards when he closes. Maurice Leggett at that linebacker spot, and a nice hit on Eric Rodgers.
12-yard pickup. Here's the pitch now to Cornish. Barreling forward right up to the midfield stripe, and already John Cornish, 7 on his first run, 17 on his second, and another 18-yard scamper this time.
You know, I mentioned earlier that the Bombers are going to want to try and contain Cornish and get Bo Levi Mitchell in second and long situations where he's throwing the football. In some cases, that's a pick your poison type of scenario. They can't let Cornish and the O-line for Calgary control the line of scrimmage, or it's going to be a long night.
Cornish, play action this time. Mitchell now with a big shot for Rodgers. Can't run underneath it. You saw that number next to John Cornish's name, 43 yards. That's already more yards than he had all of last week in the comeback game against the BC Lions.
Yeah, I mentioned that 16-yard run for a touchdown, broke 3 or 4 tackles on that run. It was real late in the game, and I thought, oh, there's vintage Cornish. They eased him back into the lineup last week, and Dave Dickinson did a nice job of just sort of rotating him through, make sure he got his legs underneath him. But you can see he's got some speed back tonight.
Here comes the blitz. There goes the football. And Lamar Durant on a little slant, very close to that first down marker, 7-yard pickup. But it's going to be third down, and where they're marking it, it looks like a full 3 to go. So the Stampeders will bring out their kick team. It will be Rob Maver, 2 of the best directional kickers, kicking the ball inside the 10-yard line tonight, and Rob Maver and Lirim Hajrullahu. Maver will launch from near his 50. And there he goes, looking for that ball inside the 10, but he's not getting the bounce. Put another point here on the board and put it on for the Calgary Stampeders. Studermeyer taking the knee. Matt Nichols, great start. Brings his offense out when we come back to Winnipeg on Wendy's Friday Night Football. 7-1 Bomber.
Mentioned Matt Nichols, 1-1 as a starter for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Good win versus Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Banjo Bowl. And this is a guy who gives this football team some hope. He's got the CFL experience, played against this Calgary team, should know this defense well as a member of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, flags fly. Play doesn't get off, just at the snap. Winnipeg moved.
Procedure. Winnipeg number 66. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Take a look at the starters watch for the Calgary defense. Charleston Hughes is the co-leader right now in sacks with 9, but he isn't the only weapon on this defense. In the back end, Keon Raymond, the playmaker, had 2 picks last week versus BC. Jamar Wall, one of the few defensive backs in the league to lead his team in tackles from the halfback spot.
Nichols throwing again, another completion, and Nick Moore, who returns to the lineup, missed last week and was missed with a groin injury, has 15 yards on a strike from Matt Nichols.
Well, it just gives another weapon to Matt Nichols in this offense to get Nick Moore back in the lineup. Remember, he didn't play against Montreal. Nice little slant route inside, and he just sits there on that curl.
Right at the first down marker. Fresh set of downs for the Blue Bombers. Play whistled in here. 2 in the backfield for Nichols. Decides to hand it off to Cameron Marshall, cutting back, and a tackle made by Micah Johnson. Penalty flag down. It's in the backfield.
Holding. Winnipeg number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So 10 yards back. It'll be first down and 20 now for the Blue Bombers.
Get the holding call on Junior Turner here, number 7. You see right in the middle of your screen, 62 Longo just twisting him around. Tough to get a penalty like that on a running play.
Nichols now quickly again, and the catch up near the 49-yard line. Chris Bastian, it's his 6th catch of the season. Former third-round pick of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, came over in the Corey Watson deal.
Now the Bombers are going to move Rory Collard into the inside position, and Chris Bastian will come on the roster and play the wide receiver spot. Marcel Belfay's got this offense clicking. Looks like it's a quick passing game, getting the ball out of Matt Nichols' hands in a hurry.
2nd down, conversion time, and into traffic, and almost a hot potato, and the Stamps somehow couldn't come up with that. Jamar Wall got his hands on it a couple times, and the Bombers were lucky that this was not intercepted.
Well, you know, when you go with the quick game, Rod, and you're just throwing it on time and on rhythm, a veteran defensive secondary will take their opportunity. They'll time it up, and they'll wait, and they'll jump some of these quick routes, anticipating this 1-2-3 throw. Jamar Wall almost had him one.
So the Stamps will bring their offense back out on that first touchdown drive. Look who was watching and cheering, Drew Willie. We'll talk more about Willie's situation. Well, another quarterback on the sideline. Of course, Drew Willie's situation well documented here in Winnipeg. With an update now, let's go down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Rod, it's the 2nd consecutive game that Drew has been down on the sidelines. He is moving better than what we've seen in previous weeks, but it's still a work in progress. There is no timeline, no update as to when he will be available. It was originally said to be 6 to 8 weeks. They knew that was going to be an optimistic timeline, thinking more likely that it could be an 8 to 12-week injury. He is improving, though, with every week, and he said that this week he has started working on the gravity treadmill. It's something new for him. He had been swimming and cycling before, but he said it's another step in the right direction, but it is so frustrating for him to not be out here, especially with the team struggles, but he is working towards returning.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Good that they have Matt Nichols as well via train as Cornish follows some blocking here and has another big gain close to a 1st down.
Well, and that's why it was that important, because of the uncertainty Sarah mentioned with regards to Drew Willie, their franchise quarterback, that they bring in a veteran like Matt Nichols. Brian Brom got his opportunity. So did Robert Marv. That didn't work out. So to get Matt Nichols with experience to come in and give this team hope, they still host the Grey Cup. They still have a chance to make the playoffs. They control their destiny, and they understand that.
2nd down and 1. Brian Moniz, short yardage quarterback, comes in as well, and he bashes forward, and again with progress should have the 1st down. Think about this for a second. In the last 17 games against the Calgary Stampeders, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have used 14 different quarterbacks.
Well, and that's why John Hufnagel has had their number. That's one of the reasons anyway.
Moniz now stays in. Cornish on the pitch. And this time he's gobbled up by a gang of blue and gold in the backfield.
Yeah, that's good gang tackling, and it's Khalil Bass that steps up, number 47, and creates the problems early in the play for John Cornish. He's right here in your screen. He's going to step up the field, get in that backfield as that ball gets pitched to the wide side. You see 47 turn Cornish back inside, and look at all the pursuit coming. You got to get gang tackle number 9.
2nd down and 12 now. Will Mitchell look to Eric Rogers? It's been his guy. And it's Marquay McDaniel. Huge play here. Brought down by Maurice Leggett from behind. 30-yard gain, a 2nd down conversion, and a big one for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, brand new signing here, Ian Wild. We'll get to his story. He's back from his tryout in the National Football League. The Bombers go with the first look in a 34 defense, which is 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and Bo Levi Mitchell goes right to work to the silent assassin, Marquay McDaniel.
A guy who flies under the radar in a serious way, but one of the most clutch receivers in the league. There's McDaniel again. Lunges forward. The second and about 3 yards to go now for the Stampeders, with 2.5 to go in the first quarter tonight.
Bombers staying with their regular defensive lineup right now, although Teague Sherman has dropped back to play the safety spot. And they'll go with Sam Hurl, Khalil Bass at linebacker. Ian Wild was in on that first down and the big throw down the middle to McDaniel.
Mitchell now, and whistles blow. The play clock came down to 0.
Time count violation. Calgary number 19. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
That one might have been on the crowd as well. There seemed to be some miscommunication before this play got off. So from 2nd and 3 to 2nd and 8.
That's called home field advantage.
Yes, it is. These die-hard Blue Bomber fans still feeling their team has a real shot here. It's going to take some doing, though, in the final 6 games. Like to see their team in the Grey Cup game on home field. Mitchell now, good protection, now goes against the grain, a long toss, and what a pass. Teardrop to McDaniel inside the 10-yard line. That's some poise from Bo Levi Mitchell.
It is, and it's communication that is not spoken. It's McDaniel inside, and he's just running like this, but he decides to fade away when he sees Mitchell in trouble and running. So Marquay McDaniel, again, the veteran here, quietly looking at him on that thing. He sees Mitchell's in trouble, so he just fades away and finds himself a little open area, and Mitchell lobs it up to him and drops it right in the bucket.
No team has been in the red zone more often than the Calgary Stampeders. They're trying to get to the end zone, and they will. Lamar Durant scores the touchdown. And with a convert here, the Calgary Stampeders can take the early lead. Lamar Durant's first Calgary Stampeder touchdown, first CFL touchdown, the 2nd-round pick this year.
Little rub play. Lamar Durant comes underneath and just instantly turns the volume down here in Investors Group Field.
Well, you never forget your first.
What's up, baby?
Former SFU star. 7-play, 79-yard drive. Rene Paredes, no problem. And the Calgary Stampeders, quiet Investors Group Field.
I mentioned it's a bit of pick your poison when you want to control John Cornish and take your chances in the passing game with a guy like Bo Levi Mitchell. And there's the rub play. Lamar Durant's outside, and he'll run the slant. Matt Buckner just could not get there. Or was it Johnny Adams on the coverage in the short side corner? No, it was Damon Washington. Stepped outside and played a matchup game against Lamar Durant.
Bo Mitchell's 19th touchdown toss of the season. And again, it's Durant's first CFL major.
One for the trophy case, the SFU grad.
It's another example of the great depth for the Calgary Stampeders. Big kick here by the Stamps. Paredes. Studermeyer has the sideline, cuts back. And Troy Studermeyer, who has struggled on returns this season, a 35-yard scoot on the return here. Under a minute to go, opening quarter. Calgary by 1 now.
Studermeyer answered some questions by the media on that topic, that the return game and in fact the special
Offside.
teams.
Calgary number 41. That penalty is declined. First down.
Special teams have struggled a little bit. You see the average has dropped from a year ago for Studermeyer, but he looks like he's got some jump in his step tonight. He's got an interception, and that was a good return.
Now let's see how Matt Nichols responds to the drive that his good buddy Bo Levi Mitchell just engineered. Twin backs, I formation, out of the shotgun is Nichols. Gives the rock to Marshall. Cam Marshall with 2 yards.
Well, last week was his best rushing game of the season. Something that Bomber fans can be optimistic about. They can get some balance, get some running game going, get some Cameron Marshall going. He had 68 yards rushing last week. That was a season high for him against Montreal in the loss. Give Matt Nichols some help and slow the pass rush.
And over the last 8 games, just 43 yards per game. Only 9 carries a game as Brandon Smith, who's just coming back from injury, had some shoulder issues. Former star from Sacramento State is being looked at. Matt Nichols and Bo Mitchell know each other very well, don't they?
Yeah, they're Eastern Washington days.
Matt preceded Bo. In fact, when Bo was coming to Eastern Washington, Matt hosted Bo.
Yep.
Said, hey, this is a school you want to go?
Good friends until they play each other.
Matt said as he was going out, say, hey, say hi to Bo. Just make sure, you know, he has a good game tomorrow. Not too good, though.
No, not too good. I hope he struggles tomorrow, but they are good friends from Eastern Washington. Bo was saying that because of that tour that Matt Nichols gave him, that's why he picked Eastern Washington.
Well, the former tour guide wants to take down Mitchell and the Stamps. Matt Nichols 0-4 lifetime against Calgary. Here comes a big rush now, and Nichols is going down. First sack of the ball game. Number of Calgary Stampeders in there to drop Matt Nichols for a loss.
I know it's early in the game, and we're talking about just 1 quarter in the books. To start the second, Rod, big defensive series, I believe, for the Bombers.
Last play, first quarter, Joe Burnett on the return. Close one here, 1-point ball game. Bombers started it off with a bomb. And then the Stamps answer. Late first quarter. Beautiful night in Winnipeg, late September, and the Bombers trailing the Stampeders 8-7. If you are Bombers trailing the Stampeders 8-7, if you are a betting man, and I know we're not betting guys, we come into this game and on paper it did not look good for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Stampeders, with their record and with the numbers that they've put up against the Blue Bombers, obviously the heavy favorites tonight. I'd have to say the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have to be pretty happy after 1 quarter.
Well, they've shown this before. I mean, this is a team that gets off to a good start off the turnover, scores the touchdown to Darvin Adams, but it's when they face adversity that this team has struggled, and that's why I mentioned that this is an important series for them defensively, even though it's just the beginning of the second quarter and there's so much football to be played tonight. If they don't get the stop here on this series, it can quickly become a lot of the same for the Bombers. A 9-3 team, they're better, and their record shows it. And they score again, and it starts to feel a lot of the same.
Mitchell, McDaniel makes a nice move, sidesteps a tackler. You just saw the differential, and again, numbers are numbers, but they do trend and play out. The Stampeders in second quarters this season, plus 83. Winnipeg, a negative 59. So let's see how this plays out. But right now, Marquay McDaniel is slicing and dicing this Bombers secondary.
Well, there's a lot of weapons there. We've talked off the top about Eric Rogers, the #1 receiver in the league. Haven't even mentioned that Joe West is making his return to the lineup. He's at wideout. Jeff Fuller's out there.
High snap. There goes Cornish. Look out. John Cornish high stepping.
Sometimes it's the little things. Bo Levi Mitchell does a nice job on this shotgun snap here to corral the football and keep the timing in the run play. And this may be a small thing, but watch 19. He has to go out and grab this one, snags it with one hand, and does not change the timing, turns around quickly, gets it to John Cornish so he can play off those blocks up front.
Third 18-yard gain for John Cornish tonight. We're not even at halftime. Torrey Harrison handles the mail this time. Had a very interesting conversation. You have a lot of them with John Cornish. He's such an interesting cat. Yesterday talking about, you know, obviously another rushing title, and he'll never say never, and the possibility exists. But he did talk about how things have changed a little bit in the game since he's been away with injury, and a lot of teams aren't running the football as much. Calgary's doing that tonight, though.
He keeps with that kind of average, and they'll keep running it.
Second down, 9 yards to go for the Stamps. Mitchell from the pocket again, delivers once more to McDaniel in front of Mo Leggett again. And Marquay McDaniel. Big second down grabs here so far in this one tonight. A 15-yard pickup.
I'm seeing some man-to-man defense here from the Bombers, and this is a little kind of change motion where Marquay McDaniel comes inside. He gets matched up on Maurice Leggett, gets that outside leverage on the outside cut, and now Leggett is in a chase position, and McDaniel with another. He almost has 100 already.
My goodness. All the talk about Fuller and West and, of course, Rogers. Don't sleep on Marquay McDaniel. Over the middle. There's Joe West. And he is dropped in a hurry by big Bomber defense. Jamal Westerman in as well on the play. Darrell Johnson making the tackle.
Last game for Joe West was back at the end of August against Saskatchewan. So he's missed some games with injury. Big target, 6'1", over 200 pounds, and just adds another weapon.
Stamps moving the ball again with ease, it seems. Early interception, and they've settled down. There he is again. But will be short of a first down. 5-yard gain. And it'll be third down and about 3 yards to go. That will mean Rene Paredes time.
You mentioned the comment by John Cornish that the game has changed a little bit, and I think there's something to be said about that. I mean, the rule changes. We've seen more zone defense than we have in the past. That means that, you know, in the passing game, a quarterback can be patient. Bo Levi Mitchell and Dave Dickinson working together to use the short passing game almost like extended runs against that zone defense.
Rene Paredes has now made his last 19 in a row. He's been perfect inside the 40. Stampeders with the Golden Boys shining tonight. Lead 11-7. 11-7 ball game right now. Calgary as they get ready on the sideline. Big second quarters are the story for the Stampeders this year. Let's go down to the coach now, Paul LaPolice.
We talked about point differential. You saw that stat a little while ago. Offensive points, though, 130 for Calgary. This is the second highest scoring offense in the second quarter in the CFL. Winnipeg has only scored 46 points themselves. Difference 84 points, guys. I did all that math in my head, too.
Good job, Coach. No, hey, and that's why I mentioned that it was a big quarter for the Bombers. They hold Calgary to a field goal there. That's a win.
Studermeyer dodges one and then gets tackled from behind. So, okay, beyond all the numbers, why are the Stampeders such a good second quarter ball club?
Well, that's Dave Dickinson. That's the coaching staff. That's a team, a veteran team led by a hot quarterback who's 24-5 to start his career. And Dave Dickinson makes the adjustments after what he sees in the first quarter and gives Bo Levi Mitchell the instruction, okay, this is how we're going to work on this defense. They have the big second quarters. Now can the Bombers keep the pace?
Play action to Siobhan Walker. Nick Moore now has some room in a block and goes flying for a big gainer here. Nick Moore thought maybe he could break that one. A 24-yard gain for number 17.
Good start because Matt Nichols and this offense going to want to stay on the field. Even if they finish here matching the field goal, got a time of possession difference right now of almost 14 minutes for Calgary, just under 5 minutes for Winnipeg. That will tire the Bomber defense going into the fourth quarter if they can't keep that offense on the field.
Again, Siobhan Walker in the backfield with Nichols. Here comes the rush. Nichols fires now, has the man, has a first down. Clarence Denmark gathers it, collecting it near the 35-yard line. Actually, they're going to spot it at the 39, a 13-yard gain, and they'll set the sticks again.
They have got to get Clarence Denmark going. And Marcel Belfay, the offensive coordinator, one catch for him last week against Montreal. He's been targeted enough 65 times, but only has 36 catches. That's his 37th.
Well, it looked like the Blue Bombers may have jumped offside there, and it might have been Nick Moore who got a head start.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 53. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Patrick Neufeld, procedure call here. Bombers move, so it'll be first down, and there he is, the guru.
Yeah, there's not many offensive sets or situations that Rich Stubler has not seen and adjusted to. A veteran group led in the middle by Juwan Simpson and Keon Raymond and their linebacking core.
First and 15 now. Over the top again, there's Moore. And they have the first down as they get close to the red zone, which has been an Achilles heel for the Blue Bombers. Not red zone production, mostly getting to the red zone.
Mentioning Juwan Simpson, he comes up, and this is the veteran going right into the void. Matt Nichols. He sees middle linebacker vacating the middle, and where does he want to throw it? Let's throw it right where that linebacker would drop into coverage to Nick Moore on the in route.
Trying to get to that red zone, trying to get to the end zone inside the 20-yard line. The Bombers have only been to the red zone 3 times in the last 5 games. That's crazy. And up the pipe, up the gut, Michel-Pierre Poilievre steamrolls.
Poilievre, a bit of a tendency breaker, doesn't get the ball very often. Probably not accounted for as the Calgary Stampeders are matching up personnel-wise. Some new set of down. Well, second and short. Should get him a new second set of downs.
Yeah, second and short. You can see the times in the red zone. Again, 3 in the last 5 games. But they've got to get a first down now. Hand it off to Marshall. He's got room. First down near the 5-yard line. Penalty flag flew late. In the end zone. Might have been a face mask. This could take it down to the 1.
Well, right tackle on this play, Patrick Neufeld, does a nice job of sealing this for Cameron Marshall.
Major foul, face mask. Calgary number 11. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Joshua Bell got the grill.
Very subtle move by Neufeld right here just to get out and make sure he can seal the edge here for Cameron Marshall. He gets the block 53 right in the hole. That springs him, and then a penalty will add to it.
Half the distance to the goal line. Into the ball game. Ryan Braun hands it off. Look out now, Marshall, you got to go. He will. He'll score. Touchdown.
Great cut.
That's an old-fashioned foot race right there.
A couple weeks ago against Saskatchewan, Cameron Marshall was having problems making the first guy miss. Not tonight so far. He's showing some great vision, and this is a super cut. He just bounces it, gets outside, uses his speed, and outruns the angle. Josh Bell could not track him down.
Winnipeg fans liking this so far, and this time a clock-chewing drive for the Blue Bombers.
Needed it. 6 plays, 75 yards. They needed that.
Lirim Hajrullahu, the point after. A lot of kickers settling in now to that 32-yard distance. Little martial art right here. Bursting outside and scoring. His 6th touchdown of the season. Week 14 resumes tomorrow. The Shaw Road to the Grey Cup. Doubleheader. BC Lions, Edmonton Eskimos, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, followed by Battle of Ontario, Argonauts and Red Blacks, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Beginning of back-to-backs with the Red Blacks and the Argos. The Argos will actually play a home game in Ottawa following big week. Since Rogers Center will be occupied or potentially occupied, Anthony Parker handling the return duties tonight.
Big drive for Matt Nichols for a couple of reasons. Obviously, they finish it with the touchdown, 6 plays, but they get started with the little play action and getting it out to Nick Moore. Then that crossing route, Clarence Denmark, who's been a forgotten man for a lot of the season. Tendency breaker, couple of Cameron Marshalls. That great cut right here should have been caught for a loss, but bounces it and scores. Get some time of possession back. Get the major on the board. Get the lead. Important for the Bombers there for a lot of reasons.
Well, the two good buddies, Mitchell and Nichols, have been lighting it up here tonight. Loads of time. Big shot downfield. Coming back for the football. That might have been one of the catches of the year had Rogers. He almost Willie Maysed that.
Eric Rogers leads the league coming into this week in every receiving category there is. Possession catches, deep balls. Look at how he twists his body. He almost pulled that off the turf. And that looked like it had no shot because it was thrown way inside the opposite shoulder, and he almost came up with it.
What a sensational season. Now another second down for the Stamps, who have replied in earnest twice now. Again, this time an overthrow. And there is an interference call, it looks like, downfield. Johnny Adams watching Jeff Fuller perhaps a little too closely.
Little contact there from Johnny Adams. My question is, and I'm sure Stampeder fans have the same question, was this ball
illegal
even
contact.
catchable? Even
Winnipeg
close?
number 20. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they're calling illegal contact, not pass interference. So anything over 5 yards, you can't contact them.
Pass interference. Winnipeg number 20. Point of foul.
They changed it to interference because the ball was thrown to him. But my question was, that looks like it was 7-8 yards ahead of him, and the ball was not catchable.
Just changed the call to interference. 26-yard gain inside Winnipeg territory. Now down to the 48-yard line. Mitchell barks out his signal and hands it off again to Mr. Dependable. John Cornish finally brought down. Another 8-yard, almost a 9-yard pickup for the former outstanding player, outstanding Canadian, the great rushers now. Do you know this is the 4-year anniversary tonight of when John Cornish made his first start for the Calgary Stampeders? Remember, he was a special teams player at one point.
Oh yeah, had to pay his dues like everybody else, and then when he got his opportunity, he took full advantage of it.
Got his first start and has a look back. Helped rewrite the record books. Torrey Harrison's in motion now, so is McDaniel. Mitchell, quick toss over the top. And another first down, and again, the quarterbacks tonight orchestrating some big drives. Nickel and diming, going for the big shots as well, and answering each other's drives.
Well, questionable interference call on Johnny Adams has kept this drive alive, but the Calgary Stampeders are now continuing to just chip away at the Bomber defense. That's Torrey Harrison on an interesting call on the fake fly sweep to Markway McDaniel.
5 minutes to go. Been a good first half of football if you like offense. There's been lots of this. Great percentage football tonight. Bombers say they have the football. Bruce Johnson comes up with it. But the whistle had blown. They are giving the Stampeders progress and saying the play was dead. Let's take another look here. Was Fuller down? Looks like he was. And the ball came out after.
Like he was down by contact here before the ball was ripped out.
Clearly down.
No question, he was down.
Second down and 4, back in the red zone inside that 20-yard line. Here's the pitch. McDaniel now. Little flea flicker and an incomplete pass. That's not the way you draw it up, and that could have been even a touchdown for Bo Mitchell.
This is where Dave Dickinson goes to Marquay McDaniel, and he says, it's not as easy as it looks to be the quarterback, is it? McDaniel's going to get this one, and he just rushes the throw because it's Bo Levi Mitchell going out the back door. Doesn't plant his feet, doesn't step into it, and Mitchell has nothing but room to run on this trick play. Now, in fairness to Marquay McDaniel, had a little pressure on him.
Wasn't a good throw.
No.
So Rene Paredes continues his torrid streak. Now 20 in a row for a guy who owns the record with 39 straight. Getting closer again. Tie ball game. 14 game in Winnipeg on this Friday night. Once again to the sideline. Let's rejoin Sarah Orlesky.
Rod, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and the Bombers have asked people here to go gold. As for the third consecutive season, they try to raise awareness and funds for this cause. Gold jerseys for the players that they're wearing. They've got a gold ribbon on the back of their helmets, and this team has done beyond just that. They earlier this week went to the pediatric cancer ward here in Winnipeg. They visited children there. They gave away 200 tickets to families dealing with cancer to this game tonight and honored some children before the game as well. They are trying to do what they can to put a smile on faces that deserve some.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. Yes, it's a gold medal for this organization to do something like that. A penalty flag on the return by Studermeyer, who seems to have a little jump in his step here tonight.
Yeah, it does. It puts things in perspective quickly, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Winnipeg number 36. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And it inspires the players. They get as much out of it as the kids do. And of course, a lot of these guys spend a lot of time in the community. But think of a kid fighting cancer. Just keep battling, kids, and we're with you. And it inspires, and it also gives you instant perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good on the Bombers for that initiative. Here is Chevy Walker. 9-yard gain. So the Bombers try to implement one of their newcomers to the backfield, Siobhan Walker, former Hamilton Tiger Cat, of course, with the Ottawa Red Blacks before being released and then picked up here in Winnipeg.
Talked about the matchups coming into this game. We got Gary Williams and Dan Fader-Kyle against Jamal Westerman, and then the other side, Stanley Bryant and Patrick Neufeld.
We'll try Walker again up the gut.
Bring it up, Rod, because we haven't talked about two of the premier pass rushers in the league. And we're at the 3-minute warning of the first half.
And they were on the marquee.
Yes.
They were Ali Frazier before the night.
That's right.
No knockouts yet. 3-minute warning. Tie ball game.
Winnipeg's bounce back ability, something that they've desperately needed heading into this game. Matt Nichols' role in that. Also John Cornish off and running. Here from Lapo too in the GMC Coaches Playbook as we go back to Rod and Glenn.
All right, thank you, Ron Smith. Look forward to that. Time ticking away here before halftime. 2:46. Quarterback's putting on a show, but Matt Nichols is dropped for the second time tonight. Junior Turner lays his mitts on him and drags him down.
Charleston Hughes in that break was having a conversation with Devon Claybrooks, a defensive line
Timer,
coach.
please reset the clock to 2:41. 2:41.
And you see with Charleston Hughes just to his left, Junior Turner on a real hard inside pass rush. Straight down Main Street to Nichols.
Winnipeg team that has given up more sacks than any other team. That's been a constant lament in Winnipeg the last few seasons. One of the reasons they can't keep their quarterback upright. Nichols, far side, big hit out there. Rory Colehurt. Well short of a first down, a 5-yard gain, and after all that, the Blue Bombers will boot it away. We haven't had many punts in this ballgame.
Looks like Brandon Smith to me, Rod, is gutting it out there. He's been banged up a couple times in this game in this first half already, and that hit hurt him again. Keep our eye on the starting halfback for the Calgary Stampeders.
Lirim Hajrullahu, just the 4th punt of the night. Total for both teams here. Teams have been scoring on long drives. Joe Burnett back. Gathers it at the 25. Spinning now, 48-yard boot. Nowhere to roam. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you can bet that they've only had really one full practice this week. It's been a short week, but special teams were something they were working on considerably and looking at a lot of film, I'm sure.
Yeah, and got to give some credit to the starting tackles in this game. Michael O'Shea wants to get his premier pass rusher in the backfield somehow in Jamal Westerman. Tied with Charleston Hughes, the league leading sacks.
of 18 now is Bo Mitchell. Anthony Parker nailed by Johnny Adams, but still hung on to the football.
The Stampeders get Gary Williams back at tackle, and Dan Faderkyle back for a couple of games now. But if they go to this quick game continually, it's hard for the defensive line to get there.
Blue Bomber defense looking to hold here. There is Westerman. 9 sacks on the season. They'll pitch it up to Cornish. Cornish then is going to be close. It's going to depend on the spot. From here, it looks like it will be a first down. They may call for a measurement.
Measurement can't be called by the coaches. It's up to the officials whether or not they want to bring the chains out. But they will signal to the Calgary sideline to give John Hufnagel and Dave Dickinson an idea if it is short. So they are going to measure.
Had to get to the 43-yard line. Looks like it's very close to that. Even if they don't get it, they're staying in. Yes,
just short.
Just short. Bringing out some big bodies here and their short yardage team. Blue Bomber D trying to hunker down here and stuff this Stampeder offense on 3rd and inches. Moniz behind center. And he looks like he got it. He's certainly lunging over top.
Good hit by Khalil Bass, and it looked like Moniz actually fumbled that snap a little bit. Had to gather it up before he could dive forward, but he only needed an inch or two. And got it.
So a big sequence for both teams here. The Stampeders looking to keep the drive going, get it into the sights. Crosshairs for Rene Paredes. Bombers trying to keep it here before halftime. Minute 15 to go. Bombers will rush 5 now. Mitchell is dropped. And there he is. The new sack leader in the CFL. It's feeding time. Jamal Westerman with number 10 on the season.
Moved him inside this time to try and get a different matchup. The tackles were playing pretty well, so they put him in there on Shane Bergman, and he gets home. They moved Greg Peach outside, so Westerman takes the lead in the sack department. That's his 10th, as you mentioned, Rod. On cue.
Charleston is taking notice of that.
Absolutely.
You can bet. We'll keep track of that. Left side. And John Cornish won't go down, but he's stopped. So the Blue Bombers will actually get the ball back before halftime.
Yeah, you know, Rod, these guys, these two players we're talking about, Jamal Westerman and Charleston Hughes, they're multi-dimensional, as we talked about in the opening, because they don't just get the glory stat. The glory stat is sacks, and they get that. Don't get me wrong, but Westerman was there again to stop the run, and he leads the D-line on his team in tackles with 43. So they do it all.
Everybody back in Brampton.
Two players.
I'm a Ruckus fan, Florida fan, New York fan.
Well, shout out to Brampton, Ontario.
All those Westerman brothers come from. Studermeyer slips, 50-yard boot, and then is tracked down at the 20-yard line. So only 12 seconds to go. Blue Bombers, you would think, would have to be content with a 14-14 game heading to halftime.
Well, but I'll argue that point and say that content is what's got them in trouble at times.
Good point. Good
Pedal
point.
to the metal, play aggressively, go and score here, or go and put it up and see maybe you get a penalty in another play.
You're trying to eat. Everybody eat, B. Everybody eat, B.
Everybody is eating.
But I will say this. We showed the numbers at the beginning, and Coach LaPolice on the sideline talked about how good the Calgary Stampeders have been in the second and how it's been an issue in the second quarter for the Bombers. Well, it wasn't in this game. So that is a good sign for Winnipeg.
So the Blue Bombers will take the knee. Bombers score 7
but no
in
content.
the second.
But no content. Don't be content.
And the Stamps only get 6. 14-14 game. The underdogs are in it here tonight against the top dogs in the West. As we send it back to the studio, Rod Smith and the boys standing by.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Rod. We got a ball game in Winnipeg. Welcome to the studio and Wendy's Friday Night Football at the half. Back with the panel of Mike Benavides, Milt Stiegel, and Chris Schultz, and follow up on a point that Rod and Glenn were making about how content or not Winnipeg should be given their situation right now. Go back 4 weeks. They were only down 8-3, but then things unraveled, Milt, in the second half. Not suggesting it's going to happen this time.
Right.
We look, in fact, there's been a good sign in the first half of the Bombers bouncing back after adversity, and that's something we have not seen in the past.
That's been a big problem for this team, overcoming adversity. They would get up, and then they would get down, then they would pretty much be over with. Well, that's not so much the case in this game. They had the early start. They got the crowd into it. Then they allowed the Calgary Stampeders to get back in the game. But something different happened. We saw a different Bomber team. They came back, and they gained that momentum back. They had some great runs. We saw a nice catch by Denmark, who we haven't seen in weeks. Moore has been playing great. So now they have that momentum. But let us not forget, the last time these two teams played, the score was 8-3 at half for Calgary. And what happened in that second half, Schultz? These Winnipeg Blue Bombers got mollywopped. So they have to come out and play a better game this second half.
You know, in this game, both of these teams are emotionally ready to play. You see a completely different type of intensity from both of these teams. And for Matt Nichols, this has been a pretty good game. Against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I thought he played well. Against Montreal, I thought he regressed. But in this game against Calgary, he's made some really nice throws. This was his best one. This is as good as any throw you're going to see in any CFL game, in any CFL quarterback throwing ability. Right on the dot. And then he came back, got a little almost overconfident, didn't really recognize the closing speed of the defender. That one almost turned into an interception. Well, he learned from that experience, and then he makes this throw in the second quarter. That was nice. Right on the line. Great velocity, great accuracy. Good game by Matt Nichols.
I've been 9 for 10, 144 yards and a touchdown. That's awfully good for Matt Nichols right now. How about John Cornish? We've seen all this before. Came back from injury last week after missing 6 games, Coach, and he had 41 yards on 12 carries. Different story tonight. He'd passed that in only 3.
Yeah, he did. And let me just share with you folks, when you compete against these guys, which I have many times, the Calgary Stampeders, you want to know exactly what John Cornish is going to do. And you're going to see his body language, and you're going to prepare to beat him. You got to beat the running game because they're committed to it. But early in the game, I told the guys here, look at this. See this little wiggle? He's ready to go. He's feeling it. See the fist pump after 15 yards? He's feeling it. He is running the football extremely well. He's getting the touches. And right now, when you take a look at the first half, great run up inside here, big crease, and he's bursting through the hole. He's averaging about a first down every time he's touching the football. Right now, John's in the groove. He's feeling it. And anytime we compete against him, you'd want to see, hey, guys, how's he feeling? How's it going? Because if you stop him early, you got a chance. If he gets going early, you got a problem. Right now, John Cornish has got it going, and they're going to feed him with some more, and I expect him to get a lot of touches in the second half.
And on the opposite side, I think defensively for Winnipeg, that's the issue. What are they going to do in terms of slowing down John Cornish? Because if I'm Dave Dickinson, I'm giving that ball back to that young man, making sure he has runs like that again.
Hey, why not? 9 carries, 83 yards, and just one half of football, his longest of 18. We got a 14-14 tie. Good one in Winnipeg between the Bombers and the Stampeders in Wendy's Friday Night Football. We got a good one going in Winnipeg tonight. It is tied 14-14. Stampeders and Blue Bombers at the half. Let's bring in our coach, Paul Lapalisse, now and hear more on the GMC Coach's Playbook. And, Coach, we were talking about the success of Matt Nichols. Great numbers, 9 for 10, 144 yards passing and a touchdown. What's been the key to his success in that first half?
I think it's a comfort level, Rod. Some of the plays I see him doing are some of the same plays he used to run in Edmonton. And what are those? Play-action passes, quick game throws where the ball's out of his hand quickly. He's done a lot of that. He's got great numbers right now, 9 to 10. Not great yardage, but he's comfortable. You can see the ball coming out quickly, and he's not holding on to it. You watch, this is the first series. I pulled from the first series of the game. This is a quick little throw off to one of their run plays. Doesn't get big yardage, but here's another quick game throw. 4 first down on the same drive. They start moving the ball. They get a little bit of a nice play action to freeze the defensive lineman. Darvin Adams comes up big after a drop last week in the end zone, makes a big catch this week. And again, the ball, when you used to watch Matt Nichols in Edmonton, the ball came out of his hand. He threw with anticipation, and this is what I'm seeing in this half. And don't forget, guys, in the second quarter, there was decent ability to run the football with Cameron Marshall for them to go down for that touchdown drive. So that was a big second quarter respond by the Bombers offense to put them right into this football game and get this crowd excited about the football game.
Absolutely. Paul Lapalisse, the GMC Coach's Playbook, and another key point, no turnovers. They just killed the Bombers 4 weeks ago against this very same Calgary Stampeder team. We got a tie game. We'll look at the halftime stats coming up. The most important stat says we got a very close game, 14-14. Bombers with the Stamps. Guys, what about the rest of the numbers?
Well, if I'm Mike O'Shea as a head coach, publicly I'm saying, look, 14-14, defending Grey Cup champions. We're looking good, guys. Let's win the second half. Privately, I'm worried about the time of possession. There's no doubt about that. Because if that doesn't change, then we may not win this game. Milton, what do you see?
Well, what about John Cornish? Only 9 carries, but 83 yards. These Blue Bombers can't allow him to establish that running game again. And then of the 144 yards passing for these Calgary Stampeders, it's not Eric Rogers, it's Marquay McDaniel with 91 yards. Maybe the most underrated receiver in the CFL.
Let's go to Sarah Oleski now with Bombers running back Cameron Marshall.
Tied at the half. What is the biggest difference that we saw from this offense in those first 2 quarters than what we've seen maybe in recent weeks?
We've been moving the ball pretty well. We still got to continue to protect a little bit better, get the ball out of Matt's hands, and get the ball, keep moving the chains.
The last time these two teams met, you were close at the half, and then things got away in the third quarter. What needs to happen early on in the third quarter for you guys to have success?
We got to keep finishing. Offense, defense, special teams doing a great job for us right now too, helping us with the field position, so we got to keep playing good on all sides of the ball.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you.
Cameron Marshall, 3 carries, 14 yards, but one of those carries was for a Winnipeg touchdown. They're in this thing. Coming back, taking the lead. Calgary with a late field goal, 14-14, second half kickoff coming up.
It's Friday Night Football.
It is Wendy's Friday Night Football, and it's a tie ball game. Bombers, Stampeders, and on the mark was Marquay McDaniel, who was with Sarah Oleski.
Marquay, 5 catches for 91 yards for yourself in that first half. What was working well?
Well, they played a little bit more man coverage, so we applied ourselves on taking advantage of that. So I just had to win my one-on-one matchup, and that's what I did.
You were able to have success on the ground as well, 83 yards for John Cornish. What does it do for this offense to be able to have both the ground game and the air game working?
It makes us dangerous, and it keeps them on our toes. The O-line doing a great job opening up those holes, and they're doing a good job in the passing game. So as long as those guys are doing what they're doing up front, we just got to finish drives. That's it. We got a couple of field goals, we just need to turn over the touchdowns.
Thank you.
No problem.
He was good in that first half. Interesting that Richie Hall, the defensive coordinator for Winnipeg, calling more man-to-man coverage against Marquay McDaniel, Eric Rogers, Jeff Fuller, Joe West. Confidence in his back end and his secondary. But it's also one of the reasons that Cornish has ripped off some big runs, because when you're in man-to-man defense, your DBs have their back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see what they do in the second half and if Ricciolo has made any adjustments.
Again, the Stampeders have won both ends of the first two games. First game by 1 point in Calgary 3 weeks ago in Winnipeg. They scored 28 in the second half to run away with it. This ball's bouncing backwards. It was a live ball, and Troy Studermeyer had to get to it. So I guess the question is, what kind of Winnipeg Blue Bomber third quarter ball club will we see here? Matt Nichols has been so sharp here tonight.
As Coach Lapalisse mentioned, he's gone to the quick game. He used a little play action, got the ball out of his hands quickly. Now remember, this is a veteran group led by, on defense for Calgary, led by Rich Stubler, who will allow their guys to jump some of those quick throws.
Last minute substitution here. Stampeders just get to the line. The Blue Bombers can't take advantage.
The other thing I'm looking for in this second half, Rod, is whether or not Charleston Hughes can have a bigger second half. A little quiet in the first, and give credit to Stanley Bryant, the former Calgary Stampeder, free agent signing at left tackle, and Patrick Neufeld. Whenever they've matched up, done a pretty good job on one of the best pass rushers in the game, if not the best.
Nichols shotgun, second down and 8. He's going to reset here, change the play. Sends out 6 receivers. And we had some movement before the ball was snapped in the whistle.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 68. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
That's Dominic Picard. Unless he shifted the ball or something, he can get his grip on it. He's kind of shaking his head. He doesn't understand why he got called there. He didn't look to me like live he moved early.
Back 5, make it second 13 again. 6 receivers set over the middle and right into dangerous territory. Brandon Smith almost had his second interception of the season. Very benign start here for the Blue Bombers out of the gate to open this third quarter.
Patrick Neufeld playing right tackle got the matchup on Charleston Hughes this time, and Hughes tried to just go with that straight bull rush straight at him. Neufeld won that one, even though it was incomplete and the Bombers lost the punt.
Big kick from Liram Haralahu. 47-yard boot. Joe Burnett waits for a couple blocks. Got some positive yardage up near the 50-yard line. Good starting point for the Calgary Stampeders. There is another penalty flag, though, on this return. Might send it back even further.
John Huffnagel not happy with that penalty on his team.
Illegal block. Calgary number 88. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Mar Jordan flagged for the infraction. John Cornish, his second game back after coming back after his broken thumb. Could do it again. Could win another rushing title. Certainly capable of putting up big numbers. He already has tonight. Bo Mitchell, great play there to avoid being sacked. McDaniel collecting the ball again.
Well, that first half was more like the John Cornish that we're used to. The John Cornish that Calgary Stampeder fans are used to. Great acceleration at the line of scrimmage. Good power when he gets that first contact. You can't arm tackle John Cornish. And with the DBs playing more man-to-man for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he's going to be able to get some space with their back to him before they react and can recover to a tackle.
83 yards first half. Short yardage follows the blocks. And once again, we'll give the Stampeders a fresh set of downs. Chatting with Cornish yesterday, we kind of talked with him about if there is a silver lining. And John Cornish does not want to play football, but if there is a silver lining, is that he is very fresh late in the season. Said his legs may be in the best shape of his life. Has been doing a lot of yoga and has been doing a lot of thinking too away from the field about what he can bring when he does come back.
And his legs are fresh because his injury is on the thumb.
We shall see in this final third of the season. Mitchell's in trouble. Oh, he escapes. Great play. Dancing is Bo Mitchell, and now throws it out of bounds, and reaching high to get it is Eric Rogers. And they're saying it's a catch.
Well, and the fans don't like it, but the call on the field is going to be that Eric Rogers was pushed and forced out of bounds, and had he come down without the push, he would have been inbounds for the catch. But let's take a look. Does he leave his feet?
The ruling on the field is a force out, so it's a completed pass.
See, he jumped straight up and then is forced out of bounds. Had he jumped out of bounds on his own, the ruling would have been incomplete.
Yeah, he went vertical there for sure. And the Blue Bombers may have just given the Stampeders a big assist there. And the crowd's reacting, but I don't think they get the call. So it's 1st and 10. Another huge play from the CFL's leading receiver. Now Cornish, left side. And another 6 or 7 yarder peeled off by John Cornish.
Tackles right now for the Stamps, Gary Williams and Fader Kyle are melting the edge. They're giving John Cornish some room, and that's at times catching the Bombers defensively when Jamal Westerman has been moved inside. When he stays outside and plays his normal rush in, it's a hard edge. When he doesn't and they move him around like they are now, then it becomes a softer edge for Calgary to block.
Cornish backfield again, stays in for blocking him. Mitchell now goes over the top, has his man. It's McDaniel again, and tonight Marquay McDaniel is a Blue Bomber buster. Over 100 yards receiving for M&M.
Well, this is what Cornish does, even when he doesn't have the ball, is that he influences the defense in a big way. They're all looking at number 9 and go towards the line of scrimmage, 3-4 steps. The entire linebacking core, including halfback Damon Washington, who had to be the guy that was responsible because he recovered to make the tackle and push him out of bounds.
Back into the score zone. Down inside the 10-yard line. Mitchell, Cornish, Khalil Bass reels him in.
This is Eric Rogers' territory, and this isn't just this year. This isn't just in the CFL, but Eric Rogers has a nose for the end zone. When he was at Cal Luther, he had 41 touchdowns, a school record by far. Now, I know that's a small school, but that's a lot of touchdowns no matter what league you're playing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Or what level. And he leads the league coming in tied for receiving touchdowns in the CFL. This is his zone.
It's his neighborhood. Let's see if they go there. Bo now. Again up the middle, and Bo Mitchell is going to score. Touchdown, Stampeders. Bo Levi Mitchell saw nobody open, called his own number, and has his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Greg Peach goes past the hole here and opens up a lane on the stunt. And that's when Bo Levi Mitchell recognizes it. He hits it. And the Bomber secondary can't react. They're trying to cover down on their men.
7-play, 79-yard drive, just like Bo Mitchell has done most of the night. Eating up the clock. Paredes again. And it's a 1-touchdown lead here. Stamps up 7. Matt Nichols, it's your turn. As Bo goes end zone. Don Johnson and Chase Crawford star in the hot new series Blood and Oil, Sunday at 9, 8 Central on CTV, as we welcome you back to Winnipeg tonight, where the Jets are playing downtown against that team, the Oilers.
My boy right here control.
This Alberta team.
Hit the cycle.
The Calgary Stampeders lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by 7. Bo Mitchell talking about Marquay McDaniel. Siobhan Walker now trying to get outside. Cannot. Bo Mitchell finds the end zone once again.
Take another look at that touchdown by Bo Levi Mitchell. And even though the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are running a stunt here with their defensive line and Bryant Turner and Greg Peach has got to be gap responsible. If he stops and goes right into this lane, he's fine, but he gets run out of his lane by Spencer Wilson. He just runs him past his rush lane. Bo Levi Mitchell recognizes it. Touchdown, Calgary.
Nichols fires his strike. Clarence Denmark, the ball was fumbled, but after the whistle and after Denmark was clearly down, a 9-yard gain. So now every time Matt Nichols or Bo Mitchell have faced a little adversity tonight in the momentum category, they've been able to gather it back and send it the other way. We'll see if he can do that.
And a good start on first down. Get yourself in 2nd and short.
The give to Marshall. Ran into a wall, including one of his linemen. It is a first down for the Blue Bombers.
And if you're going to run the ball there, and again, this is good play calling by Marcel Belfait. Why not run at Charleston Hughes? A good player, and he is leading their D-line in tackles. But now you get a big guy on a big guy, big on big, tackle old lineman on Charleston Hughes and run right at him.
Nichols, here's the rush, gets out now, and he's dropped. Charleston Hughes got him after Nichols had advanced past the line of scrimmage, so was not a sack, but there are penalty flags, 2 on the play, 1 in the backfield, 1 at the line of scrimmage.
Holding, Winnipeg number 68. Major foul, roughing the passer, Calgary number 39. We'll bounce those penalties, move up 5 yards, and it'll be automatic first down.
Charleston Hughes close to the bucket here.
I like our other coach, Mike Benavides, in the studio mentioned he'll line up wide, make it hard on those tackles. The spin move coming back, and does he get the head of Matt Nichols with that swat?
1st and 10 after all that. Lone tailback. The give is up the middle again. Marshall drops forward, so it's going to be a throwing down again for the Blue Bombers here. Trying to end a long spell against the Calgary Stampeders. They have not won this season, as mentioned before. They've lost 12 of their last 13 against the Stamps. Trailing by 7 midway through this 3rd quarter. Trying to bounce back from a loss last week in Montreal. Nichols calls his own number. That was the only play. He goes forward. Got the first down, and on a play like that last week, Nichols actually was knocked out of the ball game for a bit. Had his knee banged up. But okay this time, and got 11 yards.
Calgary has had to make an adjustment. That is Deron Mayo playing middle linebacker, and they're trying to get things organized in that linebacking core. It looks like Jeff Hecht has come in. Jawan Simpson, their leader, is on the bench right now trying to shake off some kind of injury. We'll see if Sarah can find out what's up with their leader.
Nichols looked deep, and now he is dropped. Deron Mayo, and Nichols is slow to get up. Deron Mayo has his 2nd sack, but
wow, he got the matchup running back in Cameron Marshall on Deron Mayo. And Marshall back here is just going to get run over. And hey, this happens. But Deron Mayo makes that first contact, and watch the push. He just drives him right back into Matt Nichols.
Unamused Mike O'Shea. 2nd and long. They rush 3 this time out of the backfield. Siobhan Walker dropped it. Thinking about running before catching. Cost the Blue Bombers. They'll kick it away.
You know, might have had some, but when you take a look at the O-line in front, this is that screen play. Coach LaPolice talked about that in our pregame show. A way to beat a good pass rush. Go with the screen package a little bit. But Siobhan Walker drops that one. He might have had something. Jerome Mayo was closing quickly, though.
Hyra-Lahu, who's had a good night. Big hang time here. The other 24 for Calgary. Joe Burnett is cornered. Nice kick again by Hyra-Lahu in a battle of field position. Burnett got some positive yardage. Well, John Cornish is looking like vintage John Cornish here tonight. His Stampeders, the Horsemen, up 7 in the Manitoba capital. He'll be in Regina on Sunday. The next food drive for the Purelator Tackle Hunger.
Yeah, I read a couple of nice articles about this, and as Chris Schultz has been the ambassador for this. Jerome Mayo's contributed tonight with a couple. Schultz does a great job with that. Over 1 million pounds of food donated, and as he mentioned in the article, could be your neighbor and their kids that need that food.
Absolutely. As Marquay McDaniel seems to be the guy that the Bombers are forgetting about here tonight, number 16. Our sack tally, by the way, brought to you by Purelator, Tackling Hunger, a promise we can all help deliver. And delivering tonight for the Stamps is number 16.
Yeah, you know that the Bombers were going to be focused in on Eric Rogers in the passing game, the only 1,000-yard receiver so far this season. And they've left Marquay McDaniel in the one-on-one matchups, and he's winning big time tonight.
Big time of possession difference in this game as Cornish again hammers through close to another first down. And if you thought John Cornish might be out of the rushing race, you do not know John Cornish.
No, and he passed 2 already tonight, and he's closing. Now just started for 300 behind, and now just 233 back of Andrew Harris for the BC Lions, and closing fast. He's at about 8.5 yards a clip here tonight.
Well, the Bombers defensively have done a decent job tonight, but having trouble curtailing Cornish and Marquay McDaniel. Little out pattern for Jeff Fuller, knocked out by Johnny Adams.
You know, but a lot of credit has to go to Dave Dickinson and his ability to mix things up. He knows where the talent is. He's got the guy pulling the trigger, and Bo Levi Mitchell understands this offense and what they're trying to do conceptually. And he'll give you that balance. Tough to defend when you're looking at the running back and then you lose a guy like Marquay McDaniel. You react and you try and shut down McDaniel. They go back to corner.
2nd and 4. Could be Cornish time here. No, they go up the middle instead. A little counter play that doesn't work. And the Blue Bomber defense comes up with a big play.
Damon Washington decided just to take a shot and go. Now, I'm not sure if he had coverage responsibility on this play defensively, but he just decided that. Made the read right in front of your screen at the bottom. Number 7 he just took off. I'm going to go in the backfield and hopefully they hand it off. And if they do, I'm going to be there to make the hit. He gets things shut down there for the Bombers, and Calgary's going to have to kick.
Well, they elect not to give it to Cornish, give it to Harrison, and now they have to kick their 3rd punt early tonight. Rob Maver again, one of the best directional kickers. Studemeyer. 35-yard boot, and he is knocked down at the 30. Under a full moon tonight. Beautiful night in Winnipeg. Good football game. Wendy's Friday night.
Welcome back to Investors Group Field. Mentioned in the first half, the new signing for the Bombers is linebacker Ian Wild. Back from his NFL try, and a guy who was dominant over the last couple of years in that linebacking core. Now they got to try and fit him in. The way Khalil Bass has been playing, he's going to start out on the special teams, have a couple of packages where he'll play on defense. Take a look at 13 and 14 for Winnipeg. Ian Wild was a playmaker from that linebacking core, 4 sacks, 4 fumbles, tackles for losses, but a guy that can coordinate it too. He's a captain. He's a guy that can control and make sure everyone is calm, cool, and collected when they have to be. That's what he can bring. that leadership.
Was it really necessary to show that snow?
It's coming.
Well, it's coming. There it is, around the corner. It's football season. Nichols standing in. And that throw altered. Pocket collapsed. Crowd wants an interference call. They're not getting that. Glenn Love over the middle in coverage. So again, second down conversion for the Blue Bombers. They did reasonably well in that first half, stayed in the ball game. Not too many 2-and-outs. Stamps showed blitz. Now here they come. Nichols now again has to retreat and has to throw it away. And under duress was Matt Nichols. And that's the second straight 2-and-out now for the Blue Bombers as the Stampeder defense starts tightening the screws.
Michael O'Shea will send out the punt cover team, including newcomer Ian Weil.
Burnett is back. Again, towering kick. Back at the 30. Trying to find a seam. He has one. Burnett now with a high step, and Joe Burnett, 51-yard kick, a nice return. Calgary Stampeders. Joe Burnett now is hurt. They're calling to the sideline immediately after he was hauled down. 36-yard return, but right now they're concerned about the safety and the health of Joe Burnett.
Yeah, he looked awkward when he went down, got pulled down from behind. And it looked like his knees may have buckled here as he got pulled down.
Immediately, his teammates will see it here.
See Pomberian trying to catch him for a while. It just fell on the back of his leg. That's why that left leg got buckled under.
And the teammates gathering around, and Burnett is in some distress on that field.
Boy, he's been playing well. Leads the secondary for the Calgary Stampeders in knockdowns with 8. Teams have tested Joe Burnett on that corner, and he's stepped up big against the BC Lions. He had an interception, a key part of that game. Another very good signing by John Huffnagel to get an all-star corner out there. And Joe Burnett has some experience returning kicks. You saw a good return until he got injured there at the end of it.
And they need somebody like that. Remember, they began the season with Tim Brown, who got hurt. Nate Slaughter was released. They have Sky Dawson, who came in, but Burnett now is getting up, and he's
still in some discomfort, though. You can tell, and you can see that leg is not.
No, it's not stable at all. Outstanding return on that play by Burnett, but he is going to be helped to the sideline. Nice round of applause here. Bomber fans saw that replay on the big screen. Stampeders already beset this season with a number of injuries, and a team that has an inordinate amount of depth. That's why they're the defending Grey Cup champions. Another one for that injured list. More on that. Let's go to Sarah once again.
Well, Rod, the injury update on Juwan Simpson right now is that he suffered an upper body injury in the first half. The team is hopeful that he will be able to return, but we haven't seen him with his helmet in a while. But he is walking on the sidelines. What we do know definitively is that Adam Berger is not returning. The defensive back suffered a hamstring injury. He is done for the game.
Which complicates things even more. That's a backup DB, Joe Burnett, heading to the table to continue to juggle on that defense.
Bo Mitchell turning it up in the second half. Big numbers here tonight. So too that guy, John Cornish. Just got rocked by Khalil Bass. Bo Mitchell had an interception in that first drive, but look at this since. Wow.
Actually had 2 interceptions, and one was called back in the first drive, and then it ended up in an interception. And then since then, 18 of 19 and closing in on another 300-yard passing game. Last time he was here, he was at 314.
Closing in on another record as well as starts of a career. Looking for win number 25 here tonight. He's 24-5. Bo Mitchell's numbers right up with some of the greats in the game, and he loves this place.
Yeah, he said this week and yesterday it feels real comfortable playing in this outstanding stadium, and it's fantastic in here. Almost 1,000 yards in 3 games, 7 touchdowns. Bombers have got him a couple of times, but 75% in the completion percentage department, and most importantly, 3-0.
First 2-and-out for the Stamps as Maver will get a single point. 44-yard line drive. He didn't want that. He wanted the coffin corner. See how that point plays out in this ball game. It's now 22-14 with 1:14 to go in the third quarter. But back to Bo Mitchell for just a second. This is where it all started, of course, for him, his first start as well. And Bo Mitchell wants to be playing the last game of the season in this stadium.
So does every other quarterback in the league. But you're right. You're right. 65 days from now, we'll play the Grey Cup right here. Can he get back?
Well, he's been healthy. That's the key as well in a season where quarterbacks have been dropping like dominoes.
Well, let's see how the Calgary Stampeders have juggled their secondary now. Joe Burnett is out, so they put Adam Tebow out on the corner, and he's at the wide side. They'll move Fred. Well, Fred Bennett will play that short side corner, and out there with Tebow will be Jamar Wall.
Second and 5. Here's the rush. Darvin Adams. Have not heard from him since that first drive. 3 straight catches, touchdown, and his first catch since that drive.
And getting second in manageable situations, you can run these type of plays. It's just tough for even a veteran like Fred Bennett to get too tight on a guy like Darvin Adams.
Adams scored that first touchdown. Winnipeg had an early 7-0 lead. Calgary responded. Now Winnipeg trying to get back. Nichols is going down. And the Stamps steering their way to another sack here on the final play of the third quarter. 3 times now they get to him. This time Freddie Bishop nails Matt Nichols. 22-14.
New roads.
Calgary Stampeders trying to get to double-digit wins once again. Have a 22-14 lead after 3 quarters, holding the Bombers scoreless in that third quarter. Here's a couple of significant stat numbers that don't fare well for the Blue Bombers. The Calgary Stampeders, when leading after 3 quarters, for the Blue Bombers, the Calgary Stampeders, when leading after 3 quarters, are 7-0. The Blue Bombers, when trailing after 3, 0-7.
Yeah, they got to just put those numbers aside. This is a big quarter for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They've got the Edmonton Eskimos next week. It doesn't get any easier, and they've got to try to win this game, get back in that playoff hunt. Big quarter for Bo Levi Mitchell and that offense for the Calgary Stampeders, and the Winnipeg defense has not figured out the combination of Marquay McDaniel and John Cornish just yet.
2-and-outs have hurt the Blue Bombers in this second half, however, as we begin this fourth quarter. 2nd and 18 after the sack. Nichols now, sideline, looking for Colehurt. Aaron toss, and Colehurt couldn't bring it in. He would have been short anyway, and so Lirim Hajrullahu again.
We'll see if Matt Nichols can, as this fourth quarter goes on here, to see if he can go after some of the replacements. Adam Tebow out at the wide side corner in the Calgary secondary. It's kind of tough to get an ISO out there because it's a ways away from the formation, but they can run bunch and some other offensive sets to try and get that matchup.
Lamar Durant's now returning kicks. We should tell you that Joe Burnett did leave on a cart and went to the locker room, so he's obviously done for the game, and hopefully not too much longer for the Calgary Stampeders as their injury list grows. But Stamps have a chance to get to 10 wins here, and the kind of night Bo Mitchell has had, not only throwing the football, but the play calling, but managing his offense. Long drives, clock chewing drives here tonight. Kept the Bomber defense on the field a lot. Here he goes again. Anthony Parker on a slant. Lamont Washington nails him.
Late flag down here.
There is a flag.
Right
way down.
Right by the Bomber bench.
Before first down, we have illegal block, Calgary. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
We welcome all the viewers. We're watching the Edmonton-Winnipeg preseason hockey game. Calgary Stampeders leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 22-14. Critical penalty there. Stampeders are now pushed back to their 33-yard line. We're in the fourth quarter. Bombers have held tough against the best team in the CFL West.
Big set of downs here. A one-possession game in the fourth.
Mitchell fires sideline and caught on that sideline by Jeff Fuller. 13-yard pickup will still be short of a first down.
6'4" Jeff Fuller was able to reach out and snag this out of bounds and keep that foot in. That's tremendous body control on a ball that looked like it was a little high and wide.
That's Beletic. Able to do that. Second down now and 7. Bombers rushing now. Here comes the blitz. Mitchell, who lays it in again to Fuller. And a first down into Winnipeg territory as Bo Mitchell shows that poise again, delivering the football.
Anthony Parker's going to come in here. Going to get help on the block on this blitz from John Cornish. But watch how Bo he'll just move to his left to get himself into a throwing lane with patience, poise, doesn't worry about the blitz in front of him, and finds Fuller back-to-back play.
Bombers load up that box again. Mitchell's throwing again over the top for Cornish. And hurled it over top of John Cornish.
You know, it looked like he was trying to throw it around that rush from Greg Peach. But you're looking at a guy now that has to be, I know Zach Collaros injured, and we wish the best for Collaros and a speedy recovery, but was the front runner for MOP. Now you've got to take Bo Levi Mitchell, put him in that discussion. His leading receiver coming in, and Eric Rogers is in that discussion. But Bo's been, since the first quarter ended, Bo's been on.
He's looked like an MOP here tonight. Here comes that blitz again, and a penalty flag and whistles. And the Bombers and the Stamps both had trouble in this din here tonight. Decibels were up, and they could hardly hear the whistles.
Offside. Calgary number 80. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So most assuredly now a throwing down for Mitchell again as Eric Rogers got a jump.
He must be getting antsy. He's been the #1 targeted receiver for Bo Levi Mitchell coming in tonight. They tried to get it to him early in the first quarter. There were 3 or 4 attempts, but you could see he was way offside in that corner route.
13th man in Winnipeg pumps it up again. Mitchell in the pocket is going down. And it's Jamal Westerman with his 11th sack of the season.
He's a beast. That's 2 tonight. And he now has 11. Going to be, again, moving him around. Westerman. Look at that straight push. Just splits. Laying right beside Darryl Johnson. And they get the push, and he gets a sack.
Big kick by Maver. Studemeyer now trying to kick it outside. Might have something here. Studemeyer brought down at the 27. 46-yard boot. 8-point game.
Everybody
there is the CFL sack leader. DMC Sierra. We are professional grade. Full moon tonight. Blood moon and lunar eclipse tomorrow. In Winnipeg. There's a hold on that last return, and it's a long field for the Blue Bombers. Nichols has to orchestrate here to Nick Moore. Get out of this hole. Bomber offense has not had the momentum it had in that first half.
Well, they started out with the great drive to Darvin Adams. 3 completions in a row, and one of them was that deep post. So Marcel Belfait in that first quarter, a little bit of a deep threat, and hasn't been able to get it done since then.
A lot of 2 and outs. This time they get a first down, and they have been held off the scoreboard in this second half. So it's up to you, Matt Nichols. Numbers nowhere near that first half.
That's that good start in the first quarter. A couple good drives there in the first half and second half. Calgary Stampeders defensively have made adjustments.
Double tight end package now. Nichols just throws it to the Bomber bench.
Didn't have a receiver over here. I think he wanted to give it to Marshall there. And they're talking about it going back to the huddle, and Cameron Marshall saying, oh, was that supposed to be straight run? Because when Nichols turned around, he did not have a receiver running a route on the short side of the field and had to throw it away.
Matt Nichols, 3rd start for the Blue Bombers since the trade from Edmonton. Had his first win 2 weeks ago. Lost last week in Montreal. Trying to get the Bombers back in this. Here's the rush. Now he has Moore on the near sideline. And he's going to be stopped, but a yard and a half shy of the first down.
This is going to be tempting. But conventional wisdom says punt it.
And they're bringing Hairolahu out.
Team that's got to be desperate to get back in the playoff fight. Nothing would help that cause better than to try and upset the team with the best record in the league. And that would be tempting to go for it there, but I think this is the right decision by Michael O'Shea.
Lamar Durant, his first CFL touchdown earlier tonight. Wrapped up quickly downfield. This guy's been the secret weapon tonight. Always flying under the radar. Bombers don't have an answer for Markway McDaniel. Calgary leads 22-14.
This football
continues tomorrow. Canada and Italy. You can catch the game at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, 6:15 a.m. Pacific on TSN 1 and 4.
That might might be my first order.
There you go.
After this game, Guinness.
That's right. Charleston Hughes fan right in the middle of the Bomber fans. Stamps leading right now, and Mark Jordan with his first catch. Far side made his CFL debut late last season against the Blue Bombers. Only his second game, and that's his second catch. So 2nd and 9 now. The Bombers in need of a stop. You just get a feeling if Stamps can use up more of the clock here and take it to the end zone, the Bombers may not have an answer. They've had 6 straight punts now. Offense getting no traction. Mitchell stands in and into a seam, and it is caught. What a catch!
That's what he does.
Eric Rogers with another beauty.
Quiet for most of the night, double covered with a safety over the top in Lynn J. Shell, and Eric Rogers, the best receiver in the CFL right now, with the double move to that post seam. He's got safety over the middle, and I thought Lynn J. Shell was going to intercept this, but he out-jumps him, catches it around Shell.
What a grab. Hello Sports Center. Ball's over 300. Now looking for the sideline. Eric Rogers continues to add to the catches of the year, does he not?
It's remarkable. I mean, leading in all categories, as we mentioned, and has a nose for the end zone. And I asked him about it. I called him this week, talked to him, wrote an article about it on tsn.ca about the best receiver. We can drop the qualifiers right now, like he's in the top 10, he's one of the best, all these things. Hey, with all due respect to the SJ Greens and the rest of the pack, Eric Rogers is the best receiver in the league right now.
Well, the numbers are backing that up. 2nd and 10. Mitchell. McDaniel takes a hard lick and then fights for more. Another first down. And there's a flag on the far sideline after McDaniel was scrapping for more yardage.
He's had the best night.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, you mentioned, and it's true, Rod, I mean, you mentioned that he's an under-the-radar kind of guy, but Marquay McDaniel shouldn't be.
Well, he's really he has all-star material, does he not?
Well, 160 yards tonight on 9 catches.
After the first down, illegal participation. Winnipeg number 20. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Ran out of bounds, came in on his own. Johnny Adams, but back to Marquay McDaniel, who makes his 9th catch here. And one of the best receivers in the league in the target-to-catch ratio department, which means he's that trustworthy for Bo Levi Mitchell. He shouldn't be under the radar. Teams should know about 16.
Well, you might see 16 again here. Cornish bounces back and dropped for a loss. Big play. Gerald Johnson in on the play and a bunch. The Bombers can come up with another one here. It's almost mandatory. They cannot give up a touchdown at this stage of the ball game. So Cornish was over 100 yards rushing and now back under 100 after this loss.
Stepped right up in it. It was Khalil Bass. Mentioned his name in run defense a few times tonight.
Well, number 16's in motion. Mitchell. Over to Joe West. Little shake near the goal line. So he gets out at the 4-yard line. 10-yard pickup. And John Huffnagel is going to send out Rene Paredes to make it a 2-possession game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just looking at that last formation, though, Rod, it was Marquay McDaniel, Eric Rogers, and Jeff Fuller into the boundary. Who do you think the 2 receivers were that the Bombers were most worried about? McDaniels and Rogers. They throw it down to the 3-yard line. Chip shot time for Paredes.
Well, you talked about it, picking your poison. Wealth of receivers. Paredes, again, he's made 20 straight suits. Prior to this streak, Rene Paredes was struggling, just 20 of 30. But he's on fire again. And this is the guy who has the CFL record for most consecutive field goals. He's got another impressive one going.
Time count violation. Calgary number 4. That penalty will be declined. 3rd down.
Yeah, they took that on purpose to get Paredes a little more room, so it's not quite as tough an angle, and the Bombers decline it.
Right near the 10-yard line, Drew Tate the hold. Rene Paredes has made 21 for his last 21, and we got a bit of a scrap up there as well. 2-possession ball game. Calgary leads 25-14, and Eric Rogers could have the highlight of the night.
Hey, pay up!
Wendy's Friday Night Football brought to you by Wendy's Barbecue Pulled Pork Poutine and Sandwich. Wendy's. Now that's better. Winnipeg Blue Bombers now under the gun. Down 25-14, 4th quarter. Under 6 to go. Still time, but they've only had 46 yards offense in the second half. Matt Nichols, who was running hot in the first half, has been stone cold.
Now, they tried to go change motion, the Bombers did here, to get Clarence Denmark in the one-on-one on Adam Tebow, who has replaced Joe Burnett at the wide side corner position. He was open initially, and Matt Nichols just missed him.
I'll give the Calgary D a lot of credit for that number as well, forcing the Bombers into 6 Lirim Hajrullahu punts in this second half. Finally, for the Bombers, a big play. Rory Colhart stretches it out near the midfield stripe.
This time I think tonight that he's been targeted, and that's outstanding that Rory Colhart could maintain his concentration without being used much all game long, but in a key moment in traffic, make a tough catch and move the chains.
Adams and Colhart, the wideouts. Nichols looks over the middle. He's swarmed and he is sacked. And a big one by Brandon Boudreau. Absolutely unloaded on Matt Nichols.
Micah Johnson and Brandon Boudreau on the stunt here. There's going to be one this way and one on the X here. And Boudreau comes clean inside, just not picked up by Patrick Neufeld. That was a heavy hit.
Former Hamilton Tiger Cat. 3rd sack of the season. 2nd and long. Going long into a seam and looking for Denmark. There is a penalty flag.
Keon Raymond rotated back to the safety spot. And I'm wondering if Clarence Denmark pushed Raymond down and got an offensive call here.
Bomber offense coming down the field. This is, you were right on the money, Glenn Suter. This is against Clarence Denmark.
Offensive pass interference. Winnipeg number 89. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
See how Jamar Wall's playing the outside shoulder of Denmark? You know why he's doing that? Because he knows he's got Keon Raymond in the middle to help him on that rotation.
Durant from his 20. Brought down at the 25. So the Bomber defense needs a couple of big plays here. Calgary can put the sails up soon if they can eat up more of this score clock. 3:57 to go. John Cornish was over 100 yards, lost some yards. He's back down to 98, but these are the kind of numbers we expect from John Cornish.
This is the time of game where the O-line can take control It can be Cornish time. You run down the clock if you're Calgary, chew it up, and you go home with a road win.
Continue your mastery over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They know it's going to number 9, Maurice Leggett. The loss of 5. 3.5 is
timeout. Winnipeg.
Winnipeg uses a timeout wisely here, knowing that the 3-minute warning is close by.
The Bombers have an answer for number 16 in red. Well, white tonight on the road, but
Marquay McDaniel having a monster game. Bo Mitchell putting up huge numbers. Guy who has been a 1,000-yard receiver in the CFL. That's his play, do the talking. Cornish wrapped up, ripped down. And that will bring out Rob Maver in a very critical 2-and-out for the Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense.
yeah, not only a 2-and-out, Rod, but a 2-and-out where they pushed Calgary back in back-to-back losses. Inside of the 3-minute warning, Maver's going to have to kick from his goal line. So they get the 2-and-out, but they also chew up some field position here and give Matt Nichols some good field position to start this next drive.
So Maver.
Hufnagel wants to call a timeout, I think, before the snap, before they get this play off.
Timeout. Calgary.
Hey, that was outside the 3-minute. You guys are fine. Just trying to burn time.
Again, all about clock management here and valuable seconds that could come into play in these next 3 minutes. The final play before the 3-minute warning is upon us. 11-point lead, Calgary. Chance to sweep the season series against the Blue Bombers. And hand Winnipeg a big loss here that would drop them to 4-9, and it will become more critical and crucial as the next few weeks are upon us as well. They have decided they are going to take the 3-minute warning on the field now. So 2:59 to go. Stamps to punt when we come back.
Bean.
Well, not much time in the ball game, but still time to play Moores Fantasy Football. Go to tsn.ca/CFL Fantasy to set your roster for a chance to win a trip to the Grey Cup and a Joseph Abboud suit from Moores. Every pick counts. Make yours today. So here we are in the final 3 minutes. 25-14 ball game. Calgary. Troy Studemeyer is back at his 50. Rob Maver about to launch from his 5. Studemeyer has a seam here. Troy Studemeyer kicking it outside now. Big return here for the Blue Bombers inside the 15-yard line. Don't go away. Do not go away. 41-yard return for Troy Studemeyer, who began this night with an interception that led to a touchdown and has one of his biggest returns of the season.
Troy Studemeyer heard all the negative press this week, and he's answered the bell with a couple of big returns. None bigger than that one. Now can Matt Nichols finish?
Yeah, it won't mean a thing if they can't get points here. And they got to go after it. Colhart lunging forward. Close to the 5-yard line. Again, have to use up the clock wisely here.
Well, quickly. 2 possessions. This close to the goal line, you want to get the big one first and get the major. You still need to get the ball back and Get that one more possession if you're Winnipeg.
2nd down and 2 to go. We'll go for that first down. This may even require a measurement here. Depending on the spot, clock ticks down to 2:27. Nichols looks to the sideline. And it is a first down. They'll go 1st and goal. Can't mess around here, though. You got to get in the end zone in a hurry.
We can do it quickly here on this play. They don't necessarily have to onside kick.
Nichols gives it to Marshall, but he is swallowed up big time.
Boys up front taking care of business there. That was Calgary Stampeders' Freddie Bishop stepping up. No Juwan Simpson in the middle due to injury. Glenn Love has come in. Duron Mayo has moved over. But the D-line and Keon Raymond, Bishop, Freddie Bishop right in the middle of it.
Well, this is where the Bombers have needed to improve the last few weeks in the red zone. They are mandatory right now to get this. It's a touchdown. Colhart has the major. And we've got to finish here.
And Matt Nichols paid the price big time. Glenn Love comes on a blitz. Matt Nichols knew that 36 was coming straight down the middle. He had to hold it 1 split second longer to get this done, and he gets rocked to complete this touchdown.
Winnipeg will go for 2. 25-20 to score. They're perfect on 2-point converts this season. 4 for 4. They get 2 here. Anything can happen in the final 2 minutes. They hand it off. They get it.
Okay.
Don't go away. 1:54. So
it's right in that area. And Michael O'Shea could kick this off deep. Try and get the quick 2-1 out. Good second effort there from Cameron Marshall. Not to be denied on the 2-point convert, one they had to have.
So this game starting to resemble the first game these teams played this season. When the Stamps won 26-25.
Boy, that play for the touchdown to Rory Colhart. Colhart gets to the middle. Nichols holds on, takes the hit. I just saw in the huddle Michael O'Shea, the head coach, talking to Ian Wild. Ian Wild going through the lineup and talking to some of the players. He's lined up on the right side of the kickoff team here.
So what do you think, Suits? You got the short kick. You also have one guy deep. You may have enough time to get the ball back here.
Kick it deep and maybe get the 2-0.
They're kicking it deep. And a bit of an angle here. Trying to pin Eric Rogers and the Stampeders.
They just want to recover now.
And only 1 second off that clock. So 1-5-3. This crowd trying to urge the home side on.
Troy Studemeyer's return has given the Bombers a chance. They scored quickly. They were able to kick it deep. They've got field position. Now they put the pressure on their defense to get a 2-0 quickly here and get the ball back one more time and can possibly tie this game.
Couple of first downs, they'll seal it for the Stamps. And John Cornish has the bullseye on him right now. Just 1 yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. That ate up 5 seconds.
Timeout, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg uses
timeout, Winnipeg.
its 2nd timeout.
What do they got for Marquay McDaniel? Remember, Eric Rogers made the one big catch in this situation. Or does Dave Dickinson quote of some sort of screenplay, draw play to John Cornish here. And what does Richie Hall, the defensive coordinator, have on 2nd and long?
The crowd will tell you what happens here. And boom! Cornish hit hard. And short of the first down. And Winnipeg will get the football back.
Pressure here from Sam Hurl. That middle linebacker is going to come on the stunt. Now, Bo Levi Mitchell had some time, but he was bouncing around in the pocket trying to find a throwing lane.
Well, here's the thing, Suits. The Bombers have enough time not only to get it in field goal range, they could get it to the house and win the ball game.
No question.
Maver. Studermeyer. It's been good tonight. Cloud over at the 50. 1:17 to go. Good field position for the Blue Bombers. A chance not only to tie it, but perhaps even win it. So
Marcel
now it goes to
Belfay.
the other side.
Yeah, Marcel Belfay can stay basically with his game plan, although I don't think we'll see much run here until they get into field goal range.
Nichols over the top. What a catch! Nick Moore right at the first down marker. They'll move the sticks. 1:13 to go. That only used up 4 seconds. They'll line up quickly. 14-yard pickup. Matt Nichols trying to end a losing skid against Calgary. Here's the blitz again. There's the football, and dropped by Bastian.
There was a little bit of second, like the officials took their a second there to see if he caught that or not. But I don't think he did. He's the outside receiver.
One he should have had.
Juggled it there, and no, pinned it to the ground. Correct call made, 2nd and long. Out of field goal range right now for Matt Nichols.
2nd and 10. Nichols stands in, delivers again to Nick Moore. Again, the spot is going to be very close to a first down. May have it. 7th catch for Moore. They're going to measure, it looks like. Well, the measurement will also give the Blue Bombers a chance to huddle up here.
Maybe call 2 plays in the huddle. Matt Nichols can say, okay, if this is a first down, we're going to go on this play on first down and then call a 2nd down play, get on the line of scrimmage quick. Are they?
Oh, look at that, by the nose of a football. 3rd down, so you've got to get the first down here. Obviously, it's going to eat up a little bit more of the clock. So they'll line up quickly. 3rd and inches. With loads of time now inside the 40. Key is to get this first down. Nichols gets it easily. Teron Mayo trying to rip that ball out to no success.
Oh, late flag here.
Late flag. And it'll be likely a major foul the way that flag was thrown.
Procedure.
No.
Winnipeg, no end.
Wow.
5-yard penalty.
That was a really late flag, and it wasn't. So now it's 3rd down. And it's going to be 5 yards to go, and they're going to have to bring Hairolahu out now to kick a field goal to tie. His longest this season, 53. One of the biggest kicks of his young career right here from the 50. With 50 seconds to go. Ryan Braun to hold. Hairolahu puts it down and puts it up, and it is no good. And they may look at that kick as being the one that lost it, but that procedure call on third down was absolutely the killer for the Blue Bombers.
Well, is it called an illegal formation? No end. And basically you have to have an outside receiver cover up the tackle, so this receiver has got to be on the line of scrimmage to cover him up. And it looks like he's off by a yard. There's the mistake in the formation. And now that pushes it back 5 more yards, and Hairolahu pushes it right, and it's about 3-4 yards away from tying this game.
So disappointed Bomber faithful heading to the exits now. 39 to go. Blue Bomber team that is going to suffer its 9th loss. And if it was a desperate team coming in, it is a real desperate team now. And some frustrations here. Damon Washington getting into it. Well, could have a couple players of the game for the Calgary Stampeders, but here is our Nissan Titan player of the game, and Mr. Under the Radar was over the moon.
Marquay McDaniel, start to finish, just eating up yards, close to 200 on the night. There's a nice combination between he and Cornish. He had 159 total. Marquay McDaniel. A nice balance between Cornish and McDaniel. They didn't have an answer for him.
Well, a Calgary team that's going to get another season of double-digit wins and counting, moving to 10-3. Next week, Calgary heads to Steel Town. Grey Cup rematch, and again, tempers flaring here at the final gun. Calgary was under the gun. Winnipeg had a chance to tie, maybe even win. Costly penalty and the leg going for the Blue Bombers. And they get swept by John Hufnagel and the Calgary Stampeders, who are now 10-3 on the season. The final here in Winnipeg tonight. Calgary 25, the Blue Bombers 23. A season sweep for the Calgary Stampeders over the Big Blue. Good night, everybody, from Winnipeg. Here comes SportsCenter.